Well, hello everyone, it is Kyle here with Unboxed Autos, and today we're going to be taking a look at the 2020 Cadillac CT5 V series. In this review, we'll go ahead and talk about the exterior design of the vehicle, discuss some different powertrain options, as well as check out the interior, go over some material quality, technology, and then of course talk about how this vehicle drives. Now, first up, this is a newer vehicle for Cadillac. It's the CT5. It's essentially going to be replacing the Cadillac CTS. Now, from a size perspective, both width and length, it competes actually with some of the big heavy hitter German competitors like the BMW 5 Series, Audi A6, and Mercedes-Benz E-Class. However, it is interesting to note that this vehicle, the CT5, starts at $36,895, and that's actually for the luxury version. It's the base model, and it's on a rear-wheel drive platform. So this vehicle is actually rear-wheel drive based with all-wheel drive as an option. With that being said, it's a very sporty vehicle by nature because of the rear-wheel drive setup. It has excellent weight balance, front to rear, as well as some really phenomenal driving dynamics, especially that I've gotten to check out this higher spec V6 version. Now, the V series that we have here starts at $48,690. Now, that's, even if you consider the $36,000 or the $48,000 price tag, I mean, even the base 5 series, it starts in the mid $50,000 range, as well as the Audi A6 and and the Mercedes-Benz E-Class. So, from a pricing perspective, the CT5 is, a really great value. Now, as far as the engine is concerned up front, what we have going on, the base is a 2-liter 4-cylinder turbo. It makes 237 horsepower and 258 pound-feet of torque at just 1,500 RPMs. Now, again, in this V-Series model that we have here, we have the largest available engine currently. That is a 3-liter twin-turbocharged V6, making 335 horsepower and 400 pound-feet of torque at 2,400 RPMs. So a little bit higher on the spectrum there. And this is all routed to a 10-speed automatic transmission, of which I've found to be, very, very responsive and very good. Especially, some people had been complaining about the transmission. I personally have found that it is very smooth and quick when you need it to be. Now, from a styling perspective, the CT5 is, definitely a pretty modern looking vehicle. They're sort of changing, the whole lineup, right? We still have the teardrop LED light here. This is sort of the front side eye of the vehicle. Obviously it's thinner than it was before. The front is a little less pronounced, but it's also a little sportier. Now, I also particularly love on this model, we have, it's the Sporty V version, we have the blacked out grille. Now, this car also looks phenomenal in black. I love the red, but I've seen it in black as well. All black looks really sharp. So obviously, styling, as I always say, is relative, but I think that this is, a very easy vehicle on the eyes. Again, I actually really do like the, very styled front with the big air dams and things of that nature. Now, again, styling relative, but I think as far as vehicles in this class go, it definitely stands out. It speaks Cadillac styling, which I do appreciate. The wheels, very nice, multi-spoke, silver aspect. We have the V brake calipers, as you guys can see there. They look good. From a side perspective, there, side front, looks very sporty. Coming around, of course, we have some V badge right there on the side front panel. Now, speaking of the door handles, this right here is a little light in the door handle. Now, this is cool, nifty little thing. There's the Cadillac logo outline right here. This is actually where you press to lock. It's a nice little touch. Now, these door handles actually don't move. Under here, it's electronic trigger that actually opens the door. Now, I found that to be a pretty nifty little feature. So it allows this handle to stay stationary, and then, of course, it's electronic. It's pretty nifty. And then when you want to lock, you just tap that. Strangely enough, there's no locking available on the rear door. I think that would be a good touch. I always like it on all fours because, a lot of times I'll have, something in the back, like a bag or something of that nature, a briefcase. I always like to have access to this, go ahead and lock it after I get it out. But there is unlocking. So unlocking can go from all 4 door handles, but locking only the front passenger and front driver. Now, looking at the rear third here, I really like this particular angle. I love how the taillight cuts deep into the rear panel and then also comes down there on the side. It looks really nicely too with this black trim right here. How it cuts into the side panel. Nice line right here. Short, relatively short rear window. Gives it a nice compact look. Very sporty. On the rear, again, another great feature. Quad exhaust looks very sharp. Another V badge there. As you can see, really slick rear end here. Definitely a good amount of styling. Little red lip spoiler right here. Cadillac logo. Rear backup camera is hidden right there. And then for the rear camera, as far as the mirror goes, we have that right there. CT5 badging. I like how they've really exposed the rear taillight design here, since we have these clear panels here. We have a reverse, and then our slick LEDs shows the lines. Cadillac logo right there. Looks pretty nifty. And of course, electronic trunk release. However, there is no auto close. You have to do it yourself. On this segment, would be nice to have that as an option at least. On this particular vehicle, we have the Michelin Pilot Sport. Very sporty tire. It's very good for spirited driving. It's more of a summer tire. And then V Sport again right there. And then that's what I was going to get to, though, is that a lot of people are complaining that this is not actually a real V vehicle. But the truth is Cadillac is changing up how they are doing the V series. So this will be more of a V Sport model, and then when the Blackwing comes out, that'll be the full-on real V model, right? That we're used to with the big V8 engine that goes against, M5s and things of that nature. So coming on, checking out the interior here, we have this carbon fiber trim. I would prefer, just silver would honestly would be just as good as silver metal. Good trim pieces here. Decent quality on the door panel as far as build goes. Have the optional Bose Performance Series sound system. Comes with some nice metal speaker grates here. Really, improved the plastic quality here on the door panel. Actually looks good. It's soft as well. Again, not crazy about the carbon fiber trim. Metal door handles, metal accents here. Standard General Motors door controls, window controls, which, they're okay, but it would be nice to see something just a little higher end there. Particularly love this interior color combination. I think it looks really sharp. Pretty plasticky door panel. It looks like something out of a Cruise or something, so we could improve upon that. Trunk release right there. Again, this is that really cheap, shiny plastic, very low quality. This is kind of one of those elements that you look at and you're like, it's definitely GM still. Right here we have the seat controls, massaging seats, lumbar support, things like that. I'm sure that the designers at Cadillac and GM were like, we need to change this, and then the people who crunch all the numbers are like, we're not changing that. Anyway, love the seats, signature Cadillac design element there in the seats. Very comfortable. They also have the leg extension, which is manual there. V rocker panel signature there. Metal and rubber graded brake and gas pedal right there. We have the HUD display options right there. And that about completes that corner. We'll go ahead and start it up. Push to start right here. Okay. Go ahead and adjust that so you guys can hear me. Very important. Back seat is a good amount of legroom in the back. It's very comparable to a BMW 5 Series. We have two separated sunroofs here. It's actually all one piece, but it's separated on the interior by that right there. Not sure why. We should just have one full sunroof. Controls right here. Again, pretty standard plasticky out of GM right here. Would like to see that improved. There's a closer look up at the door panel. Again, love this leather color. So we have, again, some nice elements like the metal speaker mesh grill there. Comes along nicely into there. Metal door handle. Carbon fiber trim again up here. Metal accent. Pretty soft dashboard. So this is the design aesthetic here. I'd like to see something perhaps without this so large right here. You know, I think they could do a little better job making it a little sportier inside instead of feeling, you know, pretty generic like it does feel. However, again, looking at the price point of this vehicle, it's an incredible value compared to others in the segment, you know, costing, you know, as much as $20,000 less for the, you know, the same size and similar performance aspects in a vehicle. So obviously we're going to see some of those cuts somewhere, and obviously this is where we found a few. This is the latest Cadillac media system. Very easy to use. It's like a tablet. You have some different apps if you choose to use those. We have OnStar, of course, still. We can connect to Amazon Alexa at home to control some different things like lights. Love the camera system that we have in this vehicle. Of course, on the left-hand side, we have the bird's eye 3D view. But, hello, love this feature. We will not scratch our rims this way. I feel like more manufacturers don't put cameras like this on there, so when you do scratch them, we have to go to the dealer to get them fixed. And then even an up front view, so you don't ding up the front end on a tall barrier for parking. I mean, this is the ultimate 3D view camera system right here. Love this one. And then when we back up, we can look at the rear wheels. When we're in drive, we look at the front wheels. Again, you can change that view to different things depending on what you want, right? You can also have it with lines unobstructed and all that. That's also the front view right there. Then in reverse, look at the rear, unobstructed rear, front, bumper, or lines in different views. So, absolutely love the different systems. You can get so many different combinations. Really fantastic. Navigation system is very easy to use. You can type a, you know, something really pretty generic up here. I'll find the you know, easiest Starbucks, quickest, nearest one, or you can go ahead and pick from different options here. Coffee, it's very important. We have to stay awake, so they have a dedicated coffee house button on the main screen. Very responsive. I've never found any issues with this system. It's worked flawlessly, which is always good. Usability, important. Climate control buttons right there. We also have climate control down here as well. Adjust blower speed, temperature, all the stuff right here with these nice metal buttons and a very crisp LED type looking screen here. Okay. Rear mirror is, again, the camera, so we get an unobstructed view of the rear. However, we can also change to standard if we prefer that, for whatever reason. Up here we have auto stop start off, which is great. We have auto hold, so when we're at a, you know, stop and go traffic, or you know, just we're getting tired of, you know, having the foot on the brake, which is again really apparent stop and go traffic, we can use that. So when we have our foot on the brake in drive, when, you know, we come to a complete stop, we'll actually hold the brake, right? So then we can let off, and then when we hit the gas again, it will go ahead and release. So that's a nice feature. We have a bunch of different drive modes on this vehicle, as indicated here by the drive mode button. So we'll get to that in a second when we move over to the instrument cluster. Standard GM shifter. I do not like this one particularly. Yeah, it's in Buick as well. It's just big and kind of obnoxious. It doesn't fit well. The quality is subpar. We have sort of a Cadillac-esque shape right here, but it's just not really doing anything for me. Coming over here to the buttons and knobs, if you will. Now, we can also control functions with this. Oh, I guess not on that screen. Never used it on that screen before. We also have a home screen which can display a lot of good information. I like this one right here. But we can use the dial down here to go to, let's say, navigation. Okay. We also have some buttons for commonly used functions. You can also use it to skip songs. Also volume control here, as well as skipping can be used from here as well. And you also can press it to select things. Not sure why you would want to use this little button right here instead of touching, but it is there. So again, we have some sturdy buttons for commonly used functions, which is nice in this dial pad. I would completely get rid of this and this. We do not need either of these here. Also, this plastic right here really brings down the interior. It really should be a nicer leather across here. That would really improve the interior quality just from a aesthetics perspective looking at it. So again, we don't need this. We can totally get rid of that and just keep this as good and then touch. That's all we need. So coming down here, we have cooled seats, heated seats. We can actually the car can park itself, right? So for parallel parking right there. We also have parking sensors, so if we're getting too close to something, it will let us know. We have the lane keep assist, and then if we want to activate again our camera, we use that button right there. And heated and cooled for the passenger as well. So, nice mix here. It would be cool if we could kind of, incorporate this into here, get rid of some of these functions, and then it would be a cleaner, more modern design to it. But, at the end of the day, it's nice to have all these buttons at your fingertips. They're made out of this relatively cheap plastic. Not loving, again, the quality or design aspect to this panel right there. But again, it's not terrible. And what I have to keep kind of reminding myself is that, this car, again, it starts at under $40,000. So for under $40,000 to get a rear-wheel drive platform, that really good handling, this is a good value. It's a very good deal. So we have to keep that in mind, that this does not cost, $80,000 either. And again, for the V Sport, like we're driving here, as I like to call it, we're talking, $50,000 for major performance. Coming over here to the instrument cluster, we'll go through the modes real quick. So again, that button down there that I was showing you guys will control the various modes. So we have my mode, which I like to just leave in the loudest exhaust setting and leave everything else in comfort. So it's nice that's a customizable mode. But then we also have the V button right here on the steering wheel, which is another customizable mode. You can do all of that within the display system here. So you go to home, you can go into the settings screen. Oh, I passed it. We go into there, we go into vehicle, V mode, and my mode. So you can have everything set up in different things, right? So steering, you have 3 selections, suspension, 3 selections, powertrain, 4 selections, brake response, 2 selections. It's cool that we can actually adjust the brake response. And then engine sound, 4 different options. Stealth mode is very quiet actually. Track mode, not as loud as I'd like it to be. This car should be louder than it is in track mode. So something to note. There, we can go back there or back to that one. So this right here, this is the new standard for Cadillac. It should be all digital. I'd like to see an all digital display option. There's nothing particularly wrong with this display. It's just that others in the segment have a much better driver's display here. The gauges, they're pretty boring. They're not really doing anything for me. Again, we'd like to see them step up their game a little bit as far as the instrument cluster goes. However, I do appreciate all the information that you can get in this system. So we have a G-force, timer, lap timer, coolant temp, oil pressure, trans fluid, tire temperature, the ELSD coupling percentage for performance. You can check out that as we're driving. I like to leave it on the turbo boost there so we can see we get up to 20 psi of boost when we're on it. Okay, speed shows us, cylinder deactivation shows us, we're in V6 right now, it's idling. Music, nav info, phone, and then we can do, some options in there. Okay, so definitely a good amount of information. The screen's pretty clear, really standard GM. We also have a heads-up display. It's very good. It's very crisp. Provides some good information. We also have distance-guided cruise control, heated steering wheel. and then of course volume controls as well as audio controls here. We have a really nice standard Bose system, but you know, I don't quite remember, I think it's like around part of a package that's like around $1,500, $2,000 option. We get a 15 speaker Bose sound system, which we have in this vehicle. Sounds really, really good. So I would definitely recommend getting that if you love music. The bass sounds good as well, but again, I would option for the premium system from Bose. They've always done an excellent job in Cadillac vehicles. They've went ahead, looked at the dynamics of the interior to really create an excellent sound out of the speakers. As far as steering wheel goes, this is probably my biggest disappointment on the interior. It's the steering wheel. It's very generic. I feel like we've actually went down in terms of quality from the previous Cadillac as far as steering wheel goes. Very plasticky here. I'm not really sure what, I mean, obviously we can hold it like this, but as far as design, not really getting this. Very plasticky right here. Of course, we do have the nice Cadillac logo, which I really do love in the front and center. So if we could kind of, you know, these are really nice metal buttons right here. They feel really good and they look nice. So we need to kind of incorporate more of this nice metal tone to the rest of this, and that would be good, you know. As well as this leather. The quality's okay on the leather, but it's not incredible, and I think we really need to have a dedicated V steering wheel, right? That looks really cool, like M does, or you know, Audi does. So we need to step up our game a little bit with the steering wheel here. But you know, again, keeping the price in mind for this vehicle, they've done a really good job. I love the stitching here; it looks good. So we have, you know, the door panels are nice. Steering wheel needs some help. Could use an updated digital display. The media system is good. I wouldn't change anything about it. Again, love all the different options, camera views we can get there. The design right here is interesting. You know, again, would like to see something sportier. Good metal buttons here. Would like to do something about this. This is good. It can stay. Cup holders right here. They actually cooled the phone holder here, so wireless charging, you don't have to worry about your phone overheating. It's actually cooled, so that is very neat. I think that's, you know, a nice touch. Some more storage areas right here, and there we go. The car drives really good, guys. I have to say, they really did a phenomenal job at making this vehicle, you know, drive like a true sports sedan, especially for the price of this vehicle. As seen here, it's actually fully loaded, $63,000, I believe, which is obviously getting up there a little bit, but it's from a, you know, a driving standpoint, it's phenomenal. The steering response, excellent. Road hold is very good. It's very quiet when you need it to be too, as far as highway cruiser goes. Acceleration from 0 to 60 with this engine, I believe is around the 4.8 second, but I will leave it down in the description below, as well as all the engine specs, so you guys can see the numbers and pricing for the various trim levels and engine options for this car. But overall, I think Cadillac is on the right track with the CT5. I think we'd like to see some interior updates here. Super Cruise will be coming, which will be phenomenal to have for a vehicle in this segment. Will be, you know, top notch, so we can do tons of hands-free highway driving, which would be really convenient. But again, price point phenomenal, good size, excellent driving dynamics. I think it's a great step in the right direction for the Cadillac brand, but we really just need to amp up the interior a little bit here to really get where we're going. I think the exterior styling is good. We have very solid powertrain options, good transmissions. So, you know, again, just need to, you know, adjust the interior a little bit, and I think Cadillac, you know, we're on the right track with the brand, so I'm happy to report that. Well, that's all I have for you guys today. If you have any questions, please drop them in the comments section. I'll be sure to get back to you, as well as, you know, feel free to go ahead and you know, check out the description again for all of the details on this car. Take care.